Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about adding textures to your large areas of color. But first I wanted to show you some examples of that. This is the art of Alice Fagan, and she does a lot of work for children's books, but you can see she actually works in Illustrator, which we haven't gotten to yet, but so you can see her work is very shape-based, and what she does, she actually used to do everything by hand with cut paper, and she would collect all different kinds of papers, and then she would cut out all the shapes and collage it all together by hand, which was very tedious. But then she went digital, but she really wanted that same paper feeling. So this is an example of using different kinds of papers and textures. So you can see it in here as well. Adding textures to your work really helps your work look less, it gives it just a more tactile quality. So you can kind of see her paper textures in there. But this is all done digitally. You can see these areas in the clouds and things like that. So you can take a look more on your own at her work. I'm going to show you this. This is kind of interesting too, with the crazy texture there. Okay, so let's look at one example I can show you. This with and without texture, just so you get a feeling of how it can really enhance not only the look of your piece, but the meaning behind it. So this is a business card. It's actually for my dad, and it's for his pottery, because he makes pottery. And I wanted to give it a more earthy feeling because it's a business card for pottery, and pottery is made out of clay. So I just scanned a brown bag, and you can see this is the actual, I'm going to isolate just the texture, just so you can get a feel for what that looks like without just the texture itself, and then how it's being used. And all I did was put the brown bag in there underneath everything, and you can see it's everywhere, and I set the fill lower. So you can set the opacity or the fill lower. Otherwise it's going to look like that, and that's overpowering against the line work. The other thing that I did, because I wanted some semblance of the floor, is I added some shading, and this is just with a pencil. I just did that with a pencil, and I scanned that in. Again, I'm changing the opacity or the fill, bringing it down, so I can bring in these more textural elements into something digital.